Saudi Arabia has been making the news with its plans to diversify its economy, shifting it away from oil and towards tourism. To achieve its goals, Saudi Arabia has announced and started work on several ambitious megaprojects as part of the country's Vision 2030 plan. Saudi's megaprojects began with the Line and the Hexagon, then the Dubai Circle, and now a giant queue. Saudi Arabia announced its latest project, the Mukaab, on February 16. The Mukaab is an enormously large queue, so big that it could fit 20 Empire State Buildings inside it. With a holographic dome that transports its visitors to other planets and other worlds, the Mukaab has been described by Saudi Arabia as a gateway to another world. But will the Mukaab actually be built? And if it is, when will it open to the public? Welcome to Top Futuristic. In this video, we'll be discussing everything we know so far on the queue. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and ring the bell to stay up to date with our latest videos. In line with its goal of shifting its economy away from oil and towards tourism, Saudi Arabia has started announcing and building massive mega projects. The largest of these projects is Neom. Neom is a $1 trillion mega project that includes a floating port city called Hexagon, a massive ski resort in the Arabian desert called Trojena, and a 170-kilometer long line city. Work has begun on these mega projects, with the CEO of Neom announcing in January that the city's total infrastructure was already 20% complete. Welcome to New Murabba, home of the Cube. The Cube is the latest addition to Saudi Arabia's Vision 2030. Although the development of Neom has drawn attention over the last few months, Saudi Arabia does not want to neglect the kingdom's other big cities, and this is why New Murabba will be built in Riyadh, the capital of Saudi Arabia. Riyadh is a rapidly growing city with a population of over 7 million, which makes it the third largest city in the Middle East. And according to the Saudi Crown Prince, Mohammed bin Salman, the New Murabba project will become the world's largest modern downtown. The New Murabba project is expected to accelerate Riyadh's level of development. This new district will be fitted with over 80 entertainment venues, a large museum, several walking trails, and the colossal Mukaab as the centerpiece. The Mukaab has been described as the new face of Riyadh. The exterior of this massive queue is designed with inspiration from Najdi architecture, which is a traditional style that has been used by the people of Saudi Arabia for hundreds of years. The beautiful surface of the Mukaab will shine in the Arabian sunlight and dominate the Riyadh skyline. At 400 meters tall, the cube will technically count as a super tall skyscraper. But unlike other skyscrapers, the Mukaab is also 400 meters wide, which makes it a massive structure that would dominate the skyline. To offer a bit of perspective, you could fit 20 Empire State Buildings inside the cube. The Mukaab also dwarfs all other existing cube-shaped buildings around the world. The Berlin Cube, for example, is an impressive office block in Germany with beautiful eye-catching mirrored sides. This cube, however, is only 40 meters tall. You could fit in 1,000 of these inside the Mukaab. With its enormous volume, the Mukaab could become the largest structure on Earth, easily displacing the current record holder, the Boeing Everett factory in Washington. But what will this enormous space be used for? The Mukaab is meant to feel like entering another world. A massive dome that displays different virtual realities will tower over its visitors. The holographic images generated by the dome are supposed to make visitors to the Mukaab feel as though they're in a different world. You could be at the bottom of the ocean in one moment and on the surface of Mars, or in a magical fantasy world in the next. The center of the dome will house a spiral tower, which looks almost like an anthill. This tower is designed to be the top destination for tourists visiting from all over the world. It will have hotel rooms, restaurants, observation platforms, and cinemas and theaters too. The tower and the dome will then be enclosed by the massive cube. The four corners of the cube will also be filled with facilities, stacked up in skyscraper-like towers. The top of the cube will also have some views, housing lawns, lakes, and trees. Trying to figure out if it is possible to build a lake on top of the Mukaab, or if it even makes sense, is another matter entirely. So instead, let's analyze the shape of the Mukaab. Why is the Mukaab cube-shaped? According to the designers of the Mukaab, the cube-shaped design is the most efficient shape for accommodating all the advanced technologies that will support the overall experience. While the techniques the designers intend to use to display the virtual realities within the cube aren't clear yet, the technology will need to be hidden in the space between the outer cube and the bell jar dome. A robust array of joists and beams will also be needed between the shell and the dome to hold up the gardens on top of the cube. The skyscraper-like towers at the four edges of the cube will also provide support. It's up for debate, however, if that's enough to hold the largest roof in the world and the garden on top. The cube-shaped design of the Mukaab is also intended to make it more iconic. The massive size and spectacular design of the Mukaab would give Riyadh a unique landmark, making the city instantly recognizable among other cities in the world, just the way it is with the Statue of Liberty in New York City or the Eiffel Tower in Paris. This means that whenever anyone sees a picture or video of the cube, its location in the city of Riyadh immediately comes to mind. Yet the shape of the Mukaab has come under some criticism, with some people pointing out that the Mukaab bears a resemblance to the Kaaba in Mecca, which is another city in Saudi Arabia. The Kaaba is the most sacred site in Islam, and every Muslim, regardless of their location around the world, prays with their face towards it. Others have dismissed this similarity, however, pointing out the fact that the Kaaba isn't the only cube in the world. The Berlin Cube was built in Germany without anyone saying it resembled the Kaaba, so why shouldn't it be any different for the Mukaab? To further dismiss any criticism of the shape of the Mukaab, these people pointed out that the Saudi crown is Muslim and wouldn't deliberately build an offensive Kaaba-shaped structure, which most likely means that the similarity in shape is probably just a coincidence. Generally, the announcement of the Mukaab Megaproject has been received with intrigue and excitement. But the question on everyone's mind is, will the Mukaab really be built? Construction of the Mukaab is yet to begin, but in theory it will begin in the next few months. Saudi Arabia has stated that the cube will open to the public in 2030, just like the other Vision 2030 projects like the Line, Trojena, and Hexagon. The outcome of this project is hard to predict, because even though this project may be easier to complete compared to the Line, it may very well still be the largest megaproject ever built. If the construction of the cube begins on schedule and is completed by 2030, as promised by Saudi Arabia, then Riyadh would have a shining new landmark that is bound to attract millions of tourists from all over the world. The increased number of visits to Riyadh as a result of the cube could easily make the city one of the most visited places on Earth. However, for this to be a reality, there are some hurdles that Saudi Arabia has to overcome. The financial implications of building a mega project like the Mukaab is a hurdle that has to be carefully considered. Foreign investments will play a major role in funding projects like the Mukaab, as Saudi Arabia is hoping to bring in more than $100 billion in foreign investments per year. And although they're nowhere near that yet, foreign investments could quickly increase as the hype around the Mukaab and other mega projects increases. This isn't guaranteed, however, as accusations of human rights violations have also left a stain on the Vision 2030 project, potentially scaring off foreign investors. But even if Saudi Arabia can clear the financial hurdle and raise the funds to build the Mukaab, there is another hurdle to clear. Is the cube even technologically possible? The immersive experience and the holograms promised by the cube would require cutting-edge technology on a scale that hasn't been done before. Also, the roof of the cube would have to be strong and completely waterproof to bear the weight of a lake, as well as prevent leaks, as a leak from the lake on it could cause devastating damage to the expensive technology within the cube. These are major hurdles that have to be overcome for the cube to be successfully built. Without money to pay for it or technology to support it, there's a chance that the cube will never be completed. No one knows for sure how the construction of the cube is going to end. What's certain, however, is that it's going to be an exciting couple of years. Maybe the Mukaab, the Line, and the other Vision 2030 projects will open their doors to the public by 2030, or maybe they'll never be completed. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, then please consider subscribing to the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.